Well, let's jump ahead here a little bit. Yellow Flash sent in a $10 super chat. How you doing, buddy? Says, finally watched Hellraiser 2022. First hour is awful. I like some of the second half. They should have made this movie about 90 minutes. A shorter, tighter movie would have been better. I agree with you on that part, Yellow Flash. And let's get into that because some of us here have finally seen the film, like Andre and Mr. H, of course, I think saw it before all of us. I don't know if Paul or Script have had a chance to check it out, but I also
ain't
did.
watching gruesome movies.
Surprisingly, this one's not as gruesome as some of the earlier films, but let's talk a little bit about that real quick. So a mild spoiler warning, probably.
Yeah.
There
will be heavy spoilers. You're all warned. There will be spoilers.
Okay, I'll put a spoiler banner up then. So let's talk real quick about some Hellraiser while we still got Mr. H here. So let's start with you, Mr. H. You put out your review the other day. It sounded like you enjoyed the film quite a bit. Let's get your kind of short take on it, and then we'll get into the other takes.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed the film. I kind of wanted to jump in. Like I said, I got thoughts. Andre said he didn't like the lead.
This is true. I'll get into that, but you carry on.
Well, no, but this is the thing. So I like the film, and I actually think that if the lead was likable, the ending wouldn't have worked. So the lead has to be unlikable for her lamenting her life choices at the end to actually land.
Yeah, but does she has to be so repulsive? Does she has to be this dirty, filthy, smelly Harfoot straight from Skid Row that is so disgusting that during the sex scene I'm physically repulsed because all I can think about is the STDs moving over. Does she has to wear these disgusting, filthy, baggy trousers that the flies are practically coming out of? Like, this is my problem. It's not that she wasn't unlikable. I can deal with unlikable. I can't deal with flat out repulsive. And that and again, not a bad word about the actress. The actress, I thought, did a solid job. So no, I mean absolutely no, not one bad word against Odessa Asion, but that character Riley, that's the worst. One of the most revolting, homeless beggars I've seen ever. I mean, I practically felt the body odor coming through the screen.
Right, that was my agree.
I was repulsed by her.
So I'll agree. However, and this goes to the larger issue with the movie, right? She's supposed to be repulsive. She's an addict, right? She is literally supposed to be someone that's barely sober. And if you've met any addicts, I mean, just look at, a lot of homeless people.
I agree with that, but
I know generalizing, but hold on, let me just get this out. So
sure.
So that's my point, is that she is supposed to be repulsive, but I think where the movie drops the ball, and I said it in my review, is that they didn't indulge enough in the addiction themes, the thematic elements of addiction. They're actually all there in the movie. So, people get spiked by the box, and it's literally like they've been drugged, all woozy and stuff like that, juxtaposed with her being an addict and this all being caused by her addiction. And so, they're there, but they didn't go hard on it. And that's where it falls apart, is because, she is supposed to be gross. Addicts are repulsive. But I think, and her being unlikable at the end makes sense, because if she was likable, that ending, you would have felt she was hard done by. So I don't
have a problem with that. I don't mind the ending in the slightest.
Well, yeah,
I'm with Yellow Flash. I'm with Yellow Flash in that I like the second part of the movie where it's not so centric on her, where we see everything else. That was good, and I did not, and I appreciate the themes. I really enjoyed what they did with the lore. I wish they had delved more into it, that it had been a little bit more of the Ninth Gate, because to me that was the Ninth Gate all over, and the Ninth Gate is one of my all-time favorite movies. So I did not mind that one bit. I loved it. I really enjoyed that part of it. My one and only problem with the movie was the lead character, and I do appreciate the theme with addiction. I agree with you. I wish they had gone more into her addiction without making her this freaking repulsive.
Well,
and the picture we had on screen here, was the most flattering picture of her during the entire movie.
Can we go back to that one image? Because there's a question I have if she's supposed to be repulsive and a drug addict.
This is the best picture of her.
Okay, that's fair.
No
My
point
question.
in the movie does she look so hot? That's right there.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Is I don't know a drug addict that's so repulsive that they still shave their legs.
This was another thing. That not only
she's recovered. She's
here's my thing.
sobriety.
Maybe this will explain it a little better. And this is what I had said. Is like I liked the character to a point because I thought the actress was a great actress. I can see points where you both of you are saying. My thing is in the beginning of the film, I have an issue with. It's not so much making the character likable. We don't have any reason why her brother is helping her, right? He is like one of the only characters that seems to make sense in this movie, and he has that tough love moment.
Do they need a reason?
Kind of, because
Really?
if she's
Family,
that bad,
brothers?
as bad as they're portraying her, like, well, that's just not. That's just it.
Man.
And they don't really
know.
do a good job of giving any of these characters any real character. That's my only other real complaint. Because like we just know them as the roommates, the brother, the boyfriend, the brother's boyfriend. I mean, there's not any real character traits to them.
I don't think they need to explain why the brother's helping her. I mean, it's
I think that's fine. He's her brother. That's all.
Self-explanatory.
Well, that's where I'm talking about the likability factors. You got it. My point is there's nothing for this character for me to see that the brother would even think that she has anything to recover, or any of the people around, her, right?
Well, he didn't did he? He kept questioning her. So even he, as much as he's helping her, was still questioning her and things like that.
Well, my problem wasn't just in the setup. Is we meander for a fucking hour with these characters and we don't know jack shit about them outside of her. And then we finally find out that her, love interest isn't who he, at first portrays himself as too. And I thought that was a tad convoluted, and you didn't even really need it to go that far. Because to me, the best,
obvious anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, the best character was Voight, and we spend the least amount of time with him.
He was great. I don't know why they didn't like. I mean, also, just want to say I was completely right about this movie. Vindicated all my leaks.
Oh yeah, you were.
100% true
in every detail.
But yeah, like looking at the movie. That's the most compelling. Just give me a story about Voight. Just give me his story, the lead up to him finding the box, the journal, and opening it, and then, the contraption. That would have been a story in and to its own. Just
Riley, a journalist investigating him and his disappearance, so we learn more about him that way. That would also have worked. Instead of this druggie that has this amazing book that I would love a copy of. And she just skims through bits of it and just hogs it for herself.
Because I'll agree with you there, Mr. H. Like, if they were going to get into the addict side of it, which I'm trying to think, I don't think they've really delved into too much into Hellraiser so far. If they were, like, that's the thing, is they could have had her look like seeking out the ultimate high, right? Like, everything else is like no longer giving her what it needs. And she runs into this guy who can guarantee her, like, you could tell the same story after that. But at least that feels like a much better setup. This whole idea of, we're going to go rob this place, it just kind of feels half-assed, and then you have him do his twist midway through, and you're like you said, we didn't see that coming from a mile away, but you don't even really need it.
Yeah.
You don't even really need it. It's kind of pointless. To me, you just have it there just so you can have a twist, and it's like, no, the twist is in this box, right? And I thought the more interesting twist was her getting set up to where she has to sacrifice one of her friends, right? Like, that to me was a more interesting kind of turn in the story, because that isn't something that we've either really gotten to explore too much either in these movies. That's why I said I did enjoy it. I rated it at the better end of most of the Hellraiser sequels, right? Like, it's in that.
On a technical level, this is a beautifully made film.
Absolutely, that's something we said. You can see where they put every single buck into this movie. I don't know how much they had for the budget specifically. You might know more than I do, but if
I can't remember
whatever
what the number was, it was
whatever
a couple million.
I was gonna say, I don't think it was too much. I think I heard around 3 or so anyway too. But like, you can definitely see where they stretched every dime into $1.
Yeah,
it shows on this, and that I will give them credit for. The Cenobites look amazing. Some of the special effects and
amazing. I will, just to be clear, like, my one and only issue is the lead. Beyond that, I think this is an amazingly shot, acted, written and scored movie. It's amazing in every single aspect. So that's why I'm like so annoyed with the lead.
I agree
She
too with
destroys the
Andre.
movie.
They rose Tico'd her up too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they made her
Again,
too grimy.
I can't
Yeah.
stress this enough. This is not a dig on the actress.
Yeah.
The actress, I think she did a really good job. She does not look quite like that in real life, but they roast Tico'd her and they homelessed her too much. Basically, to reference Tropic Thunder, they went full retard with her.
He's not wrong, and I agree, because that's what I said too. Is like, because I went one of the first things I did after the first 20 minutes or so of this movie, because I'm like, this chick is a great actress, but she seems like way too young to be hanging out with the rest of these people. The rest of these guys seem like they're 10, 15 years older than her, which kind of is the case because she's only like 22 years old in real life, and so I'm like, she's carrying herself very well considering her age. But I looked at a few pictures of her. I'm like, what the fuck did they do to this poor girl? Like, it's okay, fine, she has a problem, but this is still a movie at the same time, Mr. H. Like, that was my only main complaint, other than I agree it should have been chopped down to about 90 minutes. You could have lost a good half hour easy.
I'm glad. I don't mind that.
Pretty
If it's
tight.
well spent, then I don't mind it.
Well, there's some parts where it just feels like it meanders a bit too much.
I see. I enjoyed the pace of it, to be fair. I like the pace, but that's probably coming from a fan's perspective.
And I'm a fan too. I'm not nearly as big of a fan as you two.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I don't know. Then I mean, it's just personal taste, then I guess, or how the film was perceived. I mean, I didn't mind the pace. It annoyed me that they've teased, all of the journal and stuff like that, because it never, like, I paused the film to have a look and see what the journal was saying, and it almost seemed like Voight had seen Pinhead and fallen in love with her, right? That's the impression I got, because there's a page where he starts describing this beautiful being that's beyond his comprehension. Oh, it's so beautiful. She's flayed flesh and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what's born the obsession. And in and unto itself, there's a story just there. Just that would have been a really good story. I didn't mind this one. I think at the end of the day, like, maybe this is because this is the best Hellraiser we've had in years. Maybe that makes you, a little bit more, I don't know, sort of forgiving of it or anything like that. But I enjoyed it. Like, I think as an expansion to the mythos, bringing Lovecraftian elements back with Leviathan and the Labyrinth and all of that, I thought they did a really good job. I think the performance from Jamie Clayton was stellar. Like, as
amazing.
Pinhead,
all of that.
Really,
I agree
really
with
good.
everything you say now. Agree 100%.
Little subtle nuance in her eyes and the inflection. It's like, you could see her like, why have you made that choice? What? Well, huh? Oh, okay, interesting. And it's very subtle nuance in the performance was really good. I liked it. I like it for what it is. I think looking at what a movie could be from the elements that they introduce, I mean, it's just creating a completely different film. So I try not to do that too much. I like the film as it is. I don't know why I didn't notice that she was grimy. I guess to me, I just associate smackheads, pillheads as being gross. But I take your criticism on board.
Yeah,
sure.
like
they also present her as like she's supposedly been clean for a little bit too. That's the other thing that bothered me.
My issue is that they went full retard. They went full retard with her. That's my issue.
I like the music. The music was good.
Oh, fantastic!
And I love the
opening when it was in Serbia with like those opening, almost Hans Zimmer things. That was amazing.
Well, and I love how they worked in Christopher Young's theme too. In there as well.
That was brilliant.
Just at the right time as well. Just at the right time they put that in.
Yeah, so that's why that's my annoyance. I think this was like such a good reboot. And that's why I'm so annoyed that my enjoyment was impeded by the filthiness of the main character, as the writers and producers had decided that the actor would portray it. So that's not a dig on the actor, but on the creative decisions that was on screen.